looking into looking into few things on your project, like the project I have given you on NFT marketplace, like creating a NFT marketplace, like you are selling your products on e-commerce side. Like here you will actually sell, buy, and create your NFT on the marketplace. So that project we have actually discussed last week, and we have initiated something. I know Debasis has started initiated the thing. Tushar and Anil has already done this thing. Probably Prasanna sir and Biswajit also looked into it. We want to discuss more about that tomorrow. But today we'll actually go through this Marlow thing. So I'm requesting Prasanna sir to initiate that. Hopefully it will be a good thing.
Okay, sir.
Hi Satya sir. Prasanna sir, over to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, so the today class is based on the Marlow. So previous classes we have already discussed about the Haskell and the Plutos. So basically, whenever you are going to discuss about the Marlow, okay, so what is a Marlow? Marlow is basically a financial contract for blockchain. This is the most important part. In the Plutos, what we have already covered, this is also same thing in a graphical manner. What difference is that is a language and this is also a language, but it is a domain specific language, DSL. And here also same thing, we are also doing the financial contract, but we have the most advantage here is that we have providing with a blocking all the Marlow environment where it is easy to design the financial part of the Marlow. So just I'm sharing one of the document actually of a Cardano where I'll just show you what are the contents are available. Then I'll go for the playground where we have to develop a basic application, how we are going to execute the UTXO model. Okay. So now I'm going to share my screen. So now all of you can see the screen. Devasisa, Chonsha.
Sir, yes, sir.
So now you can see that this is completely a Marlow document given by the Cardano itself. Okay. So where I'll just show you here how the Marlow is still working. But here I'm just giving a basic concept. So you can go through this URL where you can get the Marlow, Plutos, everything is available. Already Narendra sir already showed this particularly the Cardano.org file. So here the Marlow is one of the part is available. So here you can view all the records. Means here the Marlow is written here, and here is the playground where we are going to see how to execute the Marlow application. So before I go for the playground, just this is one of the uh, link of Marlow. Just I'm showing you. Another part is that this is also belongs to Marlow financial statement where everything is written bit by bit. This is also given by the Cardano. You can see that everything is given in details. Introduction to Marlow, the first example of Marlow, Marlow model, Marlow step by step, everything, Marlow with block key. So it will completely help you to design the Marlow application. So here we can see that I have told you that it is basically called like a domain specific language. Remember that this is the domain specific language where everything is in a financial contract and we have to apply everything in a domain specific expertise. So here I'm going to show you this is the platform where the Marlow financial application we are going to start it. Now you can see here the simulator. Here we can start with the JavaScript, with Haskell, with Marlow, and start with the blockchain. So we know that the core language is a Haskell. Without Haskell, it is not possible to the application. But here we can see that whenever I'm going to start with a Marlow or a block key, so here you can see that I click the block key. This is the block key, means where everything is available in form of, you can see here, in form of all type of applications, but it is not in written, but it is giving you with some contracts and some designing. This is called as a visual editor, where it is easy to design all the application. This is called the contract. One part is there. Observation, where you can see that there is a lots of operators are there, where we can read. These are called, basically called as the gates. The gate means where we can easily connect it and place it as per our requirement, and we can develop the application. Here is the action, where we have to perform the different type of application. Deposit is there. Now you can see that there is a different notification is there. How to choose the bounds. Everything you can write it here. These are the values. This is also another gate. Means you cannot place it everywhere. You have to place it in a proper manner. You have to follow the rules and regulations. Otherwise, you cannot design this application. But once you design that, you can see that automatically you have also a code. I'll show you. This is the page. Another part is the connectors are available. This is the party, means the public key, where you have to give the key and the role, what type of role you are going to perform. This is the token, it means which token we are going to use, because we are using Haskell. So here the token we are using as a adder. We have to remember this one. And this is also bound between range. We have to give the range between up to which 1 to 2, 1 and 2, 1 or 1000 to 10,000. You have to give the range. So this is the, see that, this is the all the graphical available. This is called as a block key. Now I'm going to show you. Just I'm back here. Whenever you are go start with a Marlow, so here you can see that the command is written here. You have to write the code. But better if you do it in a block key, it will help you to do the application. Suppose now I'll open with an example. So this is an example. Simple, I'm giving an example. Okay. Now you can see here. Everything is written here. Now you don't have to do anything. You have to perform what type of application you are going to do it. Here, everything you have to define inside the contract. Remember, everything is defined inside the contract. And when you have to do with the contract. Now you can see here, the deposit part is there, your choice is there, everything, when you want to do the perform application, what type of application, whether you want to do the, whether a buyer is there, whether there is a seller is there, buyer, what will the deposit, the amount will be there, seller, how to choose it between the range, you have to give the provide the range, everything you have to give the specification. The mediator who will claim, the seller who is the party who is going to take the money, everything you have to define as per your parameters. So all the parameters you have to specify. So just before that, I'm just showing you, this is called as domain specific language for writing and executing financial contract that allows user to apply their domain expertise to write and manage contracts. This is the most important part. Whenever you have to write a contract here, you have to go for a contract. So whenever you have to do a contract, you have to always remember that inside the contract, you have to define the entire financial execution. You have to write the entire financial transaction, everything you have to write it here. Inside the contract, this is the contract when you have to do it, deposit by the buyer, what you have to do it, then the seller what will do it, then confirmation of the seller, everything. Now just I'm going to back it here. So now you can see here, this is the different type of regulation that whenever I give the Marlow, so you can see here, Marlow, that particular design part, here Marlow is written with a code. Either you can write it with a code. Now you can see here, whenever you are writing the code, in case of fructose, you have to write using a language. Here also, it is also you are writing a language, but everything written like this. When you have to start it, what is the case? Case means deposit, who is the role given the buyer and seller, then what are the case is that again when, what is the choice ID there, everything. Whatever the design is available in case of block key, the same thing is also available here in case of, you can, in case of your Marlow. So here you can view the Marlow, the code part. Here you can view the block key where you can design the block. Now, so I'll tell you how to design it. I'll just give you one example also. So before that, just I'm showing you how actually the DSL is working. Okay, Marlow is working. Now, so before you understand that, you have to, everything you have to understand before writing the contract. Otherwise, it is very difficult to write the contract. So we have to follow these rules. And second is that who can use this Marlow? Who will use this Marlow? Remember this part. This is the financial institutions who try to develop and deploy this custom institution. Means whenever there is a integration between the customers and the clients, or any buyer or a seller. So this is the financial institution who look after this. How we are going to perform this or designing this Marlow. This is the most important part of the programming. And which language we are going to embed it, because I already show you that we are going to implement this language. Here you can see that JavaScript is there, Haskell is there. JavaScript language means we can use in the browser. Haskell is also a programming language which is used in case of Marlow. Okay, and in case of designing also, here you can that you can start with a Marlow or you can start with a blocky. If you have a blocky, you can design it with a blocky or you can write it with the code. And everything we have to perform with the simulation. Same also, it is written here that whenever we have to use the language, we are using the two languages, that is JavaScript and Haskell. Now you can see that JavaScript and Haskell. Basically, we are using here and to perform the Marlow and blocky application. Okay. Now, whenever you are going to do all the operations, already we have discussed that it's the basically it's we are using the attach at this point. So whenever we are going to perform the real world application, we have to maintain the on-chain and off-chain wallet. In the previous classes already we have already covered these things regarding the UTXO model, where the entire architecture we have already discussed. So that means what? There, what you can see that whenever you are going to interact with anything, you have to interact with the wallet. Okay. So now, here it is the UTXO model we have already known. Now, what is the basics? How to use this? Means whenever you are going to perform this contract, we have to use the Marlow playground. So before we have to perform anything, we have to do the Marlow playground. Using the Marlow playground, we have to perform the applications. So this is the playground. We have to open an existing project or open an example, and just giving an example here how we are going to operate the interpretation. These are the demo files are available with having the Marlow and block key, everything. Whenever you write the Haskell, you can see that this is the Haskell code, what you are going to see. That this is the completely Haskell code. Okay. So whenever you have to perform with the open language in JavaScript, so you can see that this is the JavaScript language where we have to perform the contract sign. We have to write everything in the contract sign. This is the language you are going to use. But whenever we have to use the block key or Marlow, so they are the different way we have to write the code. So these are the different languages what has been used here. Now you can say that contract are different. If you have to swap, then you have to collect or you have to use the zero coupon bond. So these are the basic examples. Now, so here what you have seen that this is the basic playground. Now we have already done with the playground. So now I'm going to explain here. This is the most important part. Here you can see here, whenever you are going to operate the entire Marlow application, so this is your DSL language. Already you have to remember that. So we have to perform the entire application. So now you can see here. It's a very simple contract. We are using it. So whenever you have to perform the Marlow, here you can see that when Alice choice, when Bob choice, if Alice value equal to Bob, then agreement or arbitrary, whatever things, you can see that this is the UTXO model. In the previous classes, we have discussed how the data is flowed. Whenever you are going to give an amount, okay, 100 rupees or 100 ADA to someone else, then you have to perform every operation in a transactional manner. There will be input is there is the output is there, all input are the spent items and all outputs are the unspent items. Through which we are going to perform the entire operation by the UTXO model that we have already known, that is using the data, your context and your redeemer. This is the three part where you have to perform the entire application. So here, in case of this escort contract, this is the way we have to perform the entire applications. Now, whenever you are going to design the model, we have to remember what are the different models are available. Different models are available. One is that contract. Remember that whenever you have to perform that application, this is the one of the important. I told you that we have to always do with a contract. So contract means unless you perform any type of contract on a blockchain, we cannot do any applications. And all the contracts are written in a off-chain world. We know that because on-chain is already defined in the Plutus. Okay, so we don't have to perform. We can write it and we can send to the on-chain. But we have to always write the code for the off-chain, for the user part. So whenever we have to write the program, the Marlow means whenever we write the contract for a Marlow that will run in the blockchain, we have to write with the operated with the off-chain world. And here, what you can see that different parties who are going to participate with each other means when the buyer is how the buyer is going to buy the product, how the seller is going to sell the product, or whether there is a bid is operation there, who is going to start the bid, and who are the person who is going to bid the application. So all type of operations we are performing in the contract. So this is the most important part, and we have to always everything should be notified, and we have to notify. Means whenever there is the input is there, okay, whenever that the input is there, we have to remember that it will always tell the contract with a certain condition that how we have to perform the application, how the entire application will be performed. So that means this is called a notification. It is always woke up. It's automatically it is woke up, and it always responds to the input. Means I told you that input is a spent item and output is a unspent item. It is not based on any account to account transaction, just what you are doing it in PhonePe. It is not a account to account, but it is based on transaction to transaction. We have to always remember. And transaction means as per the rules of UTXO model, all inputs are the spent items and all outputs are the unspent items. So that means everything, whenever notification will provide, it will always automatically woke up and it start it and it's always respond to the input. What is input is coming, how to invest it, everything it will perform the application. And then means automatically the contract is going to start it, or automatically the contract is running. Okay. Anything, any doubt till now? Devasi sir?
No, sir, not now.
No, sir.
Done. So now this is called contract. We always remember that contract is just automatically it will perform the application. But Second part that I told you that whom to participate, whom to we have to engage in, to whom we have to engage in.
Okay, sir.
That means whenever we have to deposit a money, whenever we have to spend a money, to whom we have to engage in. Here the participant is there, then the roles and the public. This is the most important part. We have to remember who is the participant means through who is we have to perform the action. I told you that here in the block P we can see that. We can see that this is the action. This is the action, deposit. This is the notification. This is the basically we have to represent it as a participants. Okay, participants and the role and the public key. We have to give the role to whom, whether it is the deposit means whether it is a buyer, whether it is a seller, to whom we have to perform, and we have to provide the public key. Public key, we know that it is a address it will be given by each and every contract we have to provide, and every public key is already being done in the transaction, and that is given to the public key. Okay. So we have until unless you provide the public key, we cannot perform any transaction. This is the most important part: participants, roles, and public key. These are the three most important parts we have to also do in case of Marlow, whenever we have to operation. Now, you can see that what is the role is represented by a token that can be distributed to address at the time of the contract to deploy to the blockchain. That means whenever we have to perform any application, we have to provide the role here. Now, what is the role? I told you, role is a buyer, role is a seller. I can see here, role is a buyer, role is a seller. The role, the perform, who is going to perform? Now, the role is a mediator, who will perform the mediator between the two buyer and seller. Who is the role? Role is the buyer. So this is the important thing we have to remember. It's the roles and the public is the address. We have to remember this. And second is that whenever the role is performing the contract between the two participants, means when the buyers and sellers, and remember that the token is given, the token is there. It is the most important part. And to start the playground, we have to simply go for the contract roles. Otherwise, we cannot start the playground. We cannot perform any application without the contract roles. And this is the role is important part. And second part is the public key. I already told you that public key means it is basically eventually addressed to represent parties in simpler because it does not require handling tokens, but they cannot be traded. Because once you know the private key for giving public key, you cannot prove to be forgotten in it. Means I told you that we have to always provide the public key or the address key to perform the transaction. Whenever I send a amount to anyone, I have to always use the address to perform the entire application. That is the basically public key. And this is the one, the contract is there, participant roles and public is there. Now important part is that account. Here, the account means we already know that whenever we perform any application on any assets, on any things, we have to means all the parties have to decide how to participate in the contract. Okay, in that way, we have to maintain an account. Here the account is that of one of the party means when the contract is closed, all the assets that remain in the contract belongs to someone. And suppose that I start a bid. So now Soham sir is joining the bid. Devashish sir is going to join the bid. Then Tushar is going to be join the bid. So at the end, I close the bid. Now you can see that I start the bid at the cost of 10 ADA. Then Devashish sir is going to bid the ADA that I want to purchase this particular transaction in cost of 11. Then Sohan sir is put that is the 12. Tushar is putting at the 15. Then Devashish sir is giving me 18. Then I close the or stop the transaction. So automatically contract will decide who is the highest bidder. So now you can see that at the end, at the closing of the transaction, it found that Devasys is the highest bidder. So automatically, according to the rules of account, the entire funding will be transferred to the my account from Devasys sir, and the rest amount which has been bid by the Tushar as well as the Sohan sir will be automatically refunded. Okay, this is the account part which is done automatically. We don't have to do anything. It is everything will be done automatically. And these accounts are local. Remember that these accounts are local and it will exit. Remember, they only exit when duration of execution of contract. Otherwise, it cannot be done. So this is the basic account. The account part we have already know in banking concept. And the steps and states are there. And here what is that? We have to follow some rules and regulations to performing the contracts in case of Marlow. How to describe it, the series steps? Remember that here it is giving you some subcontracts is there, pay. So you have that A, P, T, B, C1, T constant is there. Make a payment that E represent a value, T represent a token, P represent as a party, A represent an account. So means pay to account, P party, P token, V value. And C1T is a contract. Remember. So these are the symbols we have to find out in case of Marlow. Also, we have discussed in the footers also. These are the symbols we are basically using here in case of performing the contract signing. Now, COD means it is a continuation of the contract. Always the contract will continue till it is not ended. So in execution of this is the basic part of the process. So we have to remember that whenever we have to perform the contract, participate role and public is important, account is important, and steps are important. This is the first part. Whenever we have to perform the blockchain, we remember that we have already discussed about UPXR model, how to perform the UPXR model. Okay. And second is that in the UPXR model means I told you that the three things are used in UPXR model extended. So in case of UPXR model, three things are using here. One is date term, second is script context, and third is the reading one. So these are the three parts we have already discussed in the focus part. So now I am going to explain it anything anymore. So here all the transaction is based on these things. So UTXO can be protected by a script, and that is essentially a contract. And script protect the entire UTXO model. Remember that. And here how it's going to perform the application. So now another part is that value and the tokens is there. Value and token. Value already I told you that here in the playground I show you. These are the values are there. Here is the values are there. Whether it's a constant value, what is the constant value you are going to give it, what are the parameters you are going to give it. Every value you have to perform it. So these are the values you have to represent it. And the currency symbol, we know that we are always using the by default data, we are going to use it in case of currency symbol. Okay. And secondly part is that Marlow's contract is that we are now going to discuss it. So here, whenever we are building a transaction, this is the state how it is going to perform. Okay. These are the basic steps. What are the inputs are there? What are the payments are there? What are the different transactions there? You have to perform. And the last part I am just going to discuss that. So this is the Marlow steps. Step by step. Already I told you. Pay, A, P, T, B. We already know that. What is this? All these things. P represents a token. Okay. A means account. P means pay. Who is going to pay the amount? So this is the pay. And at last, we have to close. Until and unless we close the transaction, it will not perform. Now you can see that every year that the close is there. You can see that close. All transactions, everything. Whenever you have to perform the application, you have to close it. Whenever you have to perform the application, you have to close it. You can see, all of you can see this. So whenever you are doing the operation, you have to close it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So until and unless you close it, the entire operation is not going to complete it. we have to, after close it, then we have to go for the undertaking. After close it, then we have to go for the undertaking. The clause provides us, this is the return. What is the clause? Provides for the contract to be closed for terminated. Means we have defined that it is going to terminate. That the application, the contract is closed means this part is terminated. Then we have to go for the another. And it always provides the owner of account that contain a positive balance. Unless we remember that the balance is there, we have to perform the entire application. This is the one. And value, observation, and actions. Value, I already told you that we have to define the values. So that means we have to define what are the different slots we have to provide the value so that it will fund the operation. Which whenever you have to do, here you can see that currency is there. So you can see that wherever is values there, it will show you. Account currency there, we have to give the constant parameter price. Here you can see that value, constant parameter. What is the parameter? The parameter defined as a price. So here we have to give it the value. Here the constant parameter is defined as a price. Same thing, you can also give a value. Anything you can provide it as per your requirement. Then you can see that observation means whenever you have to perform any Boolean operations, means true or false. So any Boolean operations value, in case of values, okay, that is for observation. And here oracles represent define, it is not any programming language or anything. Here oracle represent define that when you develop any blockchain, okay, whenever you develop a blockchain, then the Marlow means it will introduce with a prototype that the playground, how the playground is operating the entire application. This is called the entire operation. This is a contract. Inside the contract, what are the deposit variables? What are the things we are going to define it? The entire part is defined as a oracle. It is representing as called as a oracle. With whatever thing we are going to implement in the Marlow playground. So here is the basics parts we have already discussed. Now I'm going to give you one of the example in case of block key. And here it is that if you write it if, when, if means what, whenever you have to write any constant between one constant to second constant to define what conditional output. And the return value is always a Boolean value. When, so here you can see that whenever you are writing when the deposit are performing, so when the late command, the asset commands, everything you have to go for it thoroughly. Okay. Now I'm going to just give you one of the example here in case of block key, how we are going to perform that application. Here I'll give the steps. Okay. Here every steps is given. I just request all of you, you read it. I just show everything here, but you read it here and you perform the application, how it is doing the entire transaction. Just I'm showing you the graphically how it's working. Now you can see that. Here what you can see that I have already started a Marlow playground. Here this is a Marlow playground. We have already know it. Okay. So whenever you open an existing or you have to open a new one or open an existing project, okay, you have to log in it. Because we don't have a login, so we have to close it. We have to open a example, to go for a block key. Okay, here you can see the new project. You can click a new block key and your new block key started. Now you can start your own. Remember that you have to always perform a new project, either block key or Marlow, whatever thing. Better you start with the block key. Now you can see that a block key, a contract started with a close. I already told that you have to always, it is by default defined with a close. Contract started with a close. Means no operational work is done till now. Now you can see that whenever I here available, you can see that a contract started with a close. And always you have to go for this one, all these things. Remember that you have to follow this. This is everything is graphically specified. Now, so now here that you have the contract field with the close here. So now here, now whenever I am going to perform a contract, what is going to do? Here it is represented there. Suppose you want to remove the clause. That means if I have to remove the clause means I have to start the contract. I have to build the contract. Okay. So that means how to build the contract. Now, this is the contract what you can see here. These are the processes available now. You can see that this is the contract. Okay, when to start. That means if I remove the clause here, now I delete the block, the contract is started here, then question is again arise, I want to start what? I have to start this contract. Whenever I have to start it, how to start it? Here I can just keep it here, remember. Now, again, I'm showing you that here what you can see there, whenever I start the contract, it will asking when to start it. Now I want to when to start the contract. Okay, everything should be defined inside the contract because initially the contract is closed. Initially the contract closed. Here the clause is there. Remember, means contract started and closed. But if you want to continue the contract, you have to remove the block. Then you have to think what is going to added here. Whether you want to, with a conditional you want to start it, whether you want to pay it, whether you want to observe it, whether you let the value to be continued, whether you want to work with the asset, or whether you want to close it. Suppose, as per the designing part, I am just showing you that whenever I want to provide it, this is the when condition is there. And remember that after constant, the timer is there. Here you click it. Here you can click it. The timer is there. You specify the date and time. How many days, how many way you have to go for transaction. Now here already it is by 22/8 according to the date and time here. So you can specify it as 12 or 15. Okay. So now,
So it is a type of scheduler type thing, na?
yes,
This
yes,
time,
yes. After that, automatically the contract will be over.
yeah.
Because the contract will cannot be continued after that.
Hmm.
Automatically, you can see that at the end, you can see that every transaction will be done, and schedularly after that, the within this period, you can do all type operation, or otherwise within the timer it will be closed. This is the timer of the program. So now, this is the second part is there. Now suppose, now looking the menu of the left hand side, I already told you, okay? So I place the point block and I specify the block. Here it is the timer is not giving, so I specify the time, okay? So whenever you are going to give the timeout, so you have to again what? Now I want to continue as what? When I part the continue, when I put the condition, but I do not have to continue after the time. After the time, I continue as a close. Remember that. I specify the time, I continue as a close. I told you that once you specify the close, then it will be closed. It depends upon you, how you are going to perform. Whether you want to find that, no, I want to continue in different way. So you have to again perform another application. Always you have to remember that. Okay? Got my point? Any
Yes,
doubt?
yes. No.
So if you want to continue as for another transaction, they can continue as another transaction. Again, you can write it when you can continue. If you want to close it, then you can close it. Okay. So after this time, it will be closed. So second part is that now, when the action, what type of action I want to provide? What type of action? Now I want to deposit some amount. I want to provide deposit. So second menu there. So I want to give the deposit. Action in case of action. Now deposit there, choice name is there, notification is there, things are available. Now I want to deposit. So let me see what they are doing. Now it says that okay, I want to deposit. So okay, click it and put it here. Okay. Now what to deposit? When I deposit the amount, because after the time the transaction will be closed. But when I want to deposit, I have to perform this application. Now you can see that okay, sorry. You can see that here going to do the deposit by the amount of the currency into account of and continuous funds. Then what to deposit here? Here you have to remember that what you have to do the operation. Here it defines that a from party to the depositor, a value, the amount deposited, in which currency. I told you that in which currency you have to perform the application. Anyone? We have to always perform the application in case of ADA because we are
Ada.
already reading about the CADA. Okay. And secondly, into which account, given which party, it's either the role of the public key we have to give and the continuous as a contract. Remember that here from a party, a value, then the currency name, okay, then the party and the continuous as a contract. Continue as a contract, continue as a contract. Remember that. The first one is what? Deposited by what? What will do? Deposited by what? From party. Okay? Now, from the party, here, party means what? The public key or the role? Anyone? What is the role? What is the role? Anyone? I told you that role is specifically
Role may
given
be a pay.
to any name, a buyer, a seller, a bidder. Okay, anyone is giving a name as a role. Now, so here it defines that we should give the name the role. Here what is defined that? Here we are defining the role as a donor and the recipient. Remember that. We have to perform it. We have to just do a small application. The donor and the recipient. Okay. So here I specify the role name as a donor. Okay. Now, second part is that what is that? It's a value. Value is a amount deposited. How many amount we want to deposit? That means here the value, the constant. Remember that value is a constant we have to give, not a parameter. Here the constant value we have to give. Now suppose how many amount he has to provide you? Now you can see that it is providing you 1000. 1000 is a what? Deposited as a what the currency we have to give it? What the currency?
Ada.
Okay, thank you. Next question here. Into the account of whom? What will be written here? Sai is the role. And into the account of is also a role.
Pay.
Okay. Into the account is also a role. That means what? You can say that you have to give the role. To whom? I told you that two names. Either buyer or seller. Here I am giving the donor and the recipient. So into the account of whom? Recipient.
Recipient.
Okay. If you write it here buyer,
Okay.
if you write it a buyer, then you write it your seller. Remember, same thing. If you write a donor, then you the recipient. Choice is yours.
Okay.
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 Now, next is that what define that in the currencies token are is given, in the party is also given, and either in the role or a public key. By default, it is already given public key. Either you can give. Remember that we don't have to give any public key because whenever you provide the role, automatically the public key will be assigned internally. Remember that. Okay. And the now, what is the continuous rate in here? Then it will contract. Then what will the perform that? Now I have to go for a contract. What is the contract? It representing that finally we decided that what the continuous contract is, what does the contract do the next? That the another contract here is completely as a payment. Remember that. Another contract we have to do as a payment. We should not close it. If you continue to close, you can close the contract. Depend of the contract. What is the contract? Na payment, not close. This is the contract. Remember that. This is the contract. This is the observation. This is the action. This is the value. This is the pay. Continue as a contract. What type of contract? We define that contract is not going to close. Contract, in case of this contract, you have to pay the amount. So choose the contract, bring the pay, and put inside the contract. Here, any doubt?
No.
One,
No.
here. So according to the condition, just whatever written here, as per that, I'm showing the graphically, also I'm proposing the applications, so that it will be easy to understand both the concepts. Okay? Now, question is that again, what is the things I already told you? What you have to do what? What is written here? In case of pay, what is written here?
Pay.
Pay.
Hmm.
The amount of, then of currency,
And see
from
from
account of,
count of.
continue as. Whether you want to continue as a contract, what type of contract, whether you want to close it, or whether you want to continue for anything else. Okay? So now, question again is that pay is what? Who is the pay? Who is the pay?
Donor, the donor is the pay.
Role
The
is the
donor.
what? Donor.
Donor.
Duplicate it. Okay? So, amount of, sorry. One thing. Pay means party. Okay? Pay, sorry. This is paying, okay? This is paying. Actually, remember that one of the most problem here is that this is just like a gate, okay? Whenever you try to, I want to put the role here. I want to pay to the donor. Now see that donor cannot be accepted here. Question is again are that why it's not accepting? You define that pay. Pay means the party. The party is defined in the
Sir,
year.
your voice is breaking.
Now, who is the party? The party is what? The donor. Now, I make it duplicate. Okay, clear? Okay. So, the party to the provide. But the amount of, what amount do I want to give it? So now you can see that. Same thing is the constant I am going to give you. Okay. Here is the constant is there. Now, suppose this is now around 9,000 ADA is there of currency. ADA is there currency from account. Which account is there? Into account, which account? To the recipient.
This is the
Now, the role duplicate is there. I define the. Okay. Now, what to do? Continue means I have already given the transaction because this is a donor. Donor means what? I want to pay a 1,000 ADA to Gerasi sir. That's over. I don't want to get a return value. This is a donor and Gerasi sir is a recipient. Then what to do? Whether you want to continue anything is there? Anybody? Whether you want to continue as a contract. What type of contract? Whether I am a donor, Prasad sir is a donor, Devasas sir is a recipient. I pay him 1,000 ADA and he is taking this amount. And contract is closed or contract will continue? Hello.
Close.
The contract will be closed, the contract will be continue.
Close. Look close.
Practical looking it, real life world. if somebody donors that, just like India is providing everything to Turkey, the India is a donor giving to the Turkey. So once the goods are reached to the Turkey, the account is closed or there is a return type is there.
Yes, they
Closed.
will pay something, not closed.
Because donor. Okay. So the contract will be closed. Remember, because this is a donor. Now, you can see that all the contract is closed or its contract is left. Here you can see that the first contract here continue as a close because I have to change the timer because the timer is now is going to 25. Here specified 24. Here now I'm going to change the timer. I give the timer as 25 or 26. Okay. Now this is the going to operation. Now we can send to the simulator. Okay. So now I have to start the simulator. Initial time will be started at 24. Start simulation. Now you can see that the amount deposited is 0.0010.00100 from donor wallet. Question again arises that here the ADA define is that 0.001. Why? Because in the past class I have told you, Nalanda sir already told you, everyone told you, it is based on Loveless. Okay. So whenever you want to perform any operation, all the value is present as a Loveless. So now it is, that's why it is showing that 0.000100 from the donor wallet into the recipient and the next minute and you have to, the time will be expiration. In the 25, time will be expired at what time? I specified it. It will be 26. If you want to change in the next minute, you can change it. Now you can see that the contract started and contract ended at the time of this. Okay, if you want to make it undo, if you want to go for any changes, now you can see that all the transaction is performing event. You can see the transaction log file started 24 here, donor deposited this one, recipient to account, contract pay this from the account recipient to the donor wallet, then contract ended. Now, this is basically to representing as a wallet. So, Marlow basically representing as a wallet. This is the basic concept what I told you on basis of donor and the recipient. Okay. Any doubt, anything, anyone? You can edit also here. You can come here. You can also change as per your requirement. You can change it that I want to give here. You can specify it here. You can specify the donor name also. You can also provide it here. Okay. So view is at send the simulator start because here you can see the timer is over. So it cannot work. Expiration time because already closed. So we cannot do any operation. Got my point? Anyone? In doubt? So we have to change the timing here. Then to perform the operation, if you want to perform an operation, give the timer here. Okay, then send to the simulation, then the start simulation. Got my point? Once the time is over, you cannot perform any other operation or you can modify it. This is the transaction based on timing. Okay. So this is the basic concept what I told you in case of Marlow, and Marlow is the basic transaction part what I have already told you. There's lots of things are available in Marlow. You have to perform different applications. It's very easy to perform. There is also an wallet is there where we can also perform the interpretation. Okay. So till now, any doubt, anything else are available, you can ask any question.
No questions, sir. Not from my side. If required, I will ping in Cardan group.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Narendra sir.
Yeah, as I have already told you in the very beginning, we are going to have this session today, Marlow session, and we'll discuss the questions tomorrow. and also we'll discuss on the project tomorrow. So tomorrow there will be not much time of yours, sorry, might be half an hour, 35 minutes to discuss about the project what we are doing. So I am requesting you all to just join for 30 minutes or 35 minutes in the discussion, and we'll discuss about the project and how to move ahead. Because after this, from the next week, probably we'll start on live project and discussing on live project. Nothing more. Thank you, Prasan sir, for giving this wonderful know-how about Marlow. Marlow is very interesting. Like if people are seeing this is for the financial contracts, we can also think of other domain contracts in a similar fashion. Like you all people are working on similar domain. Uh, we tourism, you can do it like that. Pharmaceuticals also you can think about something like that. For medication, you can also think about. For e-commerce, you can also think about. For agriculture, you can also think about. So, like Marlow, you are actually going to create the contracts on the fly, and with what you are actually going to do. We want all of you and other people from different domains to contribute how to actually develop different kind of uh, infrastructure or set of frameworks like Marlow for other domains. So this is one point I want